tell us a little bit about your history, your work experience. Like, what makes you feel like you have the experience now to become a senator for Michigan?
My name's Serenity Salak. I'm a mother. I have a 15-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. They both attend public school. I'm a homeowner in Saginaw Township. We've lived here for about 12 years. I'm a lifelong Michigander. I care very deeply about our state and its resources. I am an advocate for individuals who identify as LGBTQ. I didn't know I was one of those. Like, I just thought everybody kind of thought along the lines of me, like that if nobody's hurting anyone, it's fine, right? Like, that's fine. Why would I worry about what's between someone's leg or why or who they're dating? I don't, because I have my own life. And so just simply putting these statements out there has made me the candidate that is vocally, supporting folks with trans identities and protecting them. And that to me is probably the biggest surprise, because it's not like I thought I said anything unusual. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was like, wow, if this is the thing I needed to do to make you feel like you're safe and welcomed and protected in the community, I'm super glad I stumbled into doing it, because all I did was show basic humanity, right? Because we all deserve basic humanity. So that's kind of been a label like lofted onto me, and I happily accept. And then I worked in casework for 11 years. I worked at the Department of Health and Human Services. I did food stamps, Medicaid, state emergency relief applications to get like electricity and gas turned back on. I referred clients to other programs. I also did daycare assistance administration. And then when we went home for COVID, all of us workers were sent home on March 16th of 2020. And we thought we were only going to be home for a couple of weeks, but everything came through Microsoft meetings now, like all Zoom meetings. Like it was a whole nother ballpark. It was no longer like talking to people and connecting with people and helping them to solve their problems. It was a lot more of doing paperwork and pushing buttons. And I really decided I don't like doing paperwork. So when I was able to walk away from that job, I started teaching as a substitute teacher in the Saginaw Township Community School District. Then I did that for about a year before I landed in an emotional impairment classroom as a parapro. And now I did that for 2 years, and now I am a substitute building teacher at Jesse Loomis. That means that I can do everybody's job. So,
what grade is that school?
It is K through 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just go to different classrooms?
Yep, whoever needs me. So if there's a meeting, there's so many meetings in schools. These teachers, I tell you what, you think teachers teach? They probably spend about 4 hours of their day prepping, planning, and meeting with people. I wish they had more time to teach.
Yeah.
So that's where I come in. I can step in for 30, 40 minutes and follow a lesson plan, or just waste time until those kids get back. And it's an awesome job because I get to build relationships with like over 300 students.
Yeah, all the classes.
Right? It's
Does
so
everybody
fun.
know you?
Everybody knows me. I feel like a celebrity. So like, children are great. Children tell you the truth. Like, children do not hold back. And that's why I really like children, because they say what they mean and they mean what they say, right? Whereas grown-ups, they're a little harder to figure out.
How do you like to be called?
So people call me Serenity.
Okay.
When I was a kid, my nickname was Seren. It was strange. And then as a teacher, I have kids call me Miss S. So if you've had your kids come home and call you and say, Miss S was in our class, it was the best. That's me, I'm Miss S. And when I filled out paperwork to run for this election, I went with Serenity Hope Salak because ultimately we could all use a little hope right now. And
well, that's a very interesting name. I had to ask you about your name.
Yeah.
Serenity Hope?
Yep, Serenity Hope.
How did your
So my father tells the story this way, that they were looking through a dictionary and trying to figure out my name, and they had come across Serenity, and my dad looks up from the page and looks around him, and like there's holes in the floorboards, right? There's mouse droppings in the corner, and he's like, how are we going to have another kid?
Okay.
And he goes, well, hopefully this one brings me some peace, right? So I was his hope for the future that I'd bring him Serenity.
Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Lansing, and then we moved when I was really young to Burt. So I lived in a trailer park for like 7 or 9 years before my family bought like a modest home in another part of Burt, and then I went to Bertrand school. Okay. So I graduated from Bertrand High School.
Oh, okay. Can I ask what year you graduated?
I graduated in... See, I have to think about it. So it was a while ago. I believe 2003.
So you were in public administration, helping families get what they need for services. So
Yep.
You're very familiar with that aspect
Yep.
of things and how government works in that way.
Yep.
And I think I read that you have a master's.
I have a master's in public administration with a concentration in human resource management. I knew that I was going to work in government because I knew that is one way you can do the most good, right? Because now I can go out into my neighborhood and I can serve one neighbor at a time, but if I can help administer a program, or if I can get additional funding to our neighborhoods, or I can speak for our neighborhoods in the Senate, then I can get more resources to our neighborhoods to help our neighbors. So I knew I wanted to work in government because I grew up in poverty, and I know how I got fed. It was through food assistance. I know how I went to the doctor. It was through Medicaid. And so, like, those programs are important to me because, like, they work. Like, I'm living proof that they work. I have a bachelor's degree. I'm a first generation college student. I have a master's degree. Like, I come from a space of food insecurity. I no longer have that issue anymore, right? Like, we're completely solvent. Like, in our household, we have no debt. And these are things that are so important to me now. And I just want everyone to have the opportunity to live their personal best quality of life. I want them to have the tools they need to do that. My faith grows stronger with this journey. I feel called to do this. I'm going to be completely honest, and I say a lot of bizarre things on the campaign trail, and it is who I am. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this because this is really hard, but I know that I can do this, and I have the obligation to try because I know I can do it better, because I love people. I meet them where they are. I build relationships with them, and we solve the problems together. It's worked in every emotionally dysregulated child. It's worked in every client I had as a caseworker, and it's worked in every time I've had to de-escalate someone. You tell them that you love them. If you can apologize for something, you do. And then you guys figure out how to make it right. Right? Because that's all people wanted. That's all people need, is they need to feel heard, and they need to know that you have their best interests in mind when you're trying to help them fix the problem. Yeah, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Is that a big part of your life?
Yes. Like, I go to church every Sunday. I serve at my church. I was a youth group leader and a Sunday school teacher, and now I'm more or less an event planner for, like, the really big events. Like, we have a Christmas dinner coming up. We're looking at 250 folks showing up, and so that is something that I organize. Like, I organize large events often enough that I've started putting it on my resume. It's unpaid, but it's on the resume because it's a lot of work. But it's something I enjoy because, again, finding the people, and I liked a term that Christian McDonald Ribbit actually used the other day, folding them in. Like just finding the one among the many who looks lonesome or who looks like they could use a friend, and just pulling them on in. And that's how I'm going to work with senators and representatives. That's how I'm going to work with voters and constituents. That's how it's done. That's how Jesus did it. That's how I'm going to do it.
Well, Jesus said one thing, and that's all we really need to know.
Love thy neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Right?
nothing else.
The job skills you need as a senator or like a representative are going to be those kinds of job skills you obtain in service to your fellow man, right? So like casework is number one, right? Like what are you going to get in that office? Is you're going to get calls that people are getting trapped in organizational systems that aren't working for them. Well, that's something I know how to do because I've done that for 13 years. And then there's also an education portion to it, and being able to reach, the one person who's struggling, and finding them and getting them the help that they need. I can't say that this is really very much different from casework or being a teacher. It's finding the voter or the constituent, meeting them where they are, having a conversation with them, and asking them how they want to move forward. I've never really understood the whole party lines and the tribalism thing. Like, I want to be respectful of Democrats because like I'm running under their party right now, but there are some things that I think like I'll wholly disagree with them for quite some time on. I don't know that, I'm not saying I'm not immovable. Like I'm willing to move on the issues. Like if new information comes up, if somebody can explain logic to me in a way that like connects my like platform with what voters are asking for.
Well, what do you think in this area, the Great Lakes Bay region? What are some of the issues that you see we should really be focusing on to make our place a better place to live for everybody?
So like if we're to break it down by region, Midland needs more affordable housing. There are a lot of people who work in like Midland who can't afford to live in Midland, and that's not okay. You should be able to live where you work, even if you're working at McDonald's. And then for Bay City, like it boils my blood, the issues they're having with the bridge.
Oh.
It became really real to me when it was explained that when there's like a road closing on the bridge or there's a crash or something like that, families may have to go all the way around to use a different bridge, and that adds like 20 minutes to their time. Well, there are times that I very much remember where driving an extra 20 minutes was, an eighth of a tank of gas and cost $5, but we didn't have $5. And $5, is $5, but if you don't have it, it might as well be $5,000. So how are you going to get around the bridge to get to the grocery store? Because as I understand it, the one side of Bay City doesn't have, grocery stores and things like that. Like it is practically a food desert and services, whereas everything else is on the other side.
Like
yes, and that's not ethical. Why are we doing that to that population? That's insane. And then if you choose to use the bridge, that costs money. Even if you are a resident, they are like doing away with some of the free pass systems as I understand it. And so then we're asking people who are already burdened with poor taxes, like things that they have to pay for that I don't run into anymore. Like driving with a suspended license because you didn't have time to go get your license renewed. That's a poor tax, right? So driver responsibility fees, which have been thankfully repealed, those things took my mother's driver's license away for several years, and she couldn't get a job after that, right? Before she could get those fees paid off. These are things that make poorer people poorer, and richer people are getting richer on the backs of people who can barely make it, and that pisses me off, and that's why I'm here.
What about for Saginaw?
For Saginaw has a great deal of poverty. And I think what will help Saginaw to overcome is is programs so that parents can return to the workforce. So we're thinking about daycare, like daycare free of charge, K through 3, expanded pre-K to include 3-year-olds, and then building up those before and after programs in the schools. There are schools that have before care and after care programs. Jesse Loomis isn't one of them, but the building that I work at, but the one school that I go to, Westdale, does. And so it is a nominal fee for each of those children to attend. Why can't we get the state to pay that and then ask those parents to use that time to retrain for a more lucrative career, a new job, a job we actually have? We need CNAs, we need teachers, we need paraprofessionals in school, we need lunch ladies, we need bus drivers, we need bus aides, we need substitute teachers. The classroom, there is so much to do and so few people to do it.
So at the school that you teach at, Jesse Loomis,
yeah.
What's it like there for the parents, because they don't have a before or after school?
They don't have a before or after school program. It's chaotic. Like dismissals can be very chaotic because kids do not know sometimes who they're going home to. They don't know if like it's going to be grandma picking them up or mom. Like those things can change from day to day. They don't know if their bus or pickup that day because again things change day to day, and these parents are also they don't have like access to basic communication sometimes. Like I've been that poor that your phone gets shut off. That was a thing. Like if you didn't pay your phone bill, it didn't work the next day. And because I know how that feels, the panic that happens, like I am impassioned. I am so passionate about getting people the tools they need to live successful lives, because if you don't have a phone bill, you can't get a job interview, right? You know? And so it's like, it's just these little things that we could do to help parents, like daycare before and after school.
I'm curious because I thought most schools have that. Like, is it just that? Is it like all the schools in Saginaw?
Saginaw Township Schools has it in every building. City of Saginaw Schools does not have it in every building, and I don't know if it has it in any building. Yeah. Erroneously, I thought it was a Title I program, but Jesse Loomis is also a Title I school. So when I thought, because Westdale, where my son goes, they have it. And so I thought it was a Title I program. Apparently not. And the thing about programs like right there directly in the schools, like the schools already have bins of Legos, right? They already have color crayons. They already have buildings. Yeah. They already have toys, right? So there's no overhead. You are paying 2 to 4 staff members to be there for a few hours. We're talking about maybe, if I'm going to be generous, and I will be, if these folks are going to make $20 an hour, we're looking at maybe $320 a day for all of those children. And if we're looking at a ratio of 16 to 1, doing the math in my head real quick because I know the law, I've done these things, that's 64 kids, that's 64 parent groups that might be able to retrain. Think about like the turnaround economically for our area. Like first, there's the tuition that goes into local schools to get those people trained, and then those people, those parents get jobs, and then they're able to, again, contribute back to our local economy. And these things are not necessarily already out of the question. We do have retraining programs, if you meet like age and other eligibility requirements. And then we do have job placement agencies. Like all of this infrastructure is still in place. We are just not getting to the people. How do we get to the people? Well, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking maybe we go to where they are already seeking resources. If they're already at the East Side Soup Kitchen, if they're already at the rescue mission, like what can we get to them there that they're not already getting? Or if they're already getting services there, what barriers are they running into? Because if it is busing, we can figure it out. We're always asking kids, hey, what are you supposed to be doing right now? They know exactly what they should be doing right now, but there's always going to be a barrier that keeps them from doing it. So you pick out the barrier and you help them fix the problem.
So what I love about what you just said is that if you care about people, that's what they really need.
That's the only thing Christ did. Is he listened. He gave them time and he listened, and that's how I'm running this campaign. I'm giving folks time and I'm listening, and I'm approaching them at the same level. I am not smarter than you. I have not struggled any different. You've struggled and I've struggled as well. But I am not going to tell you how to fix your life, because you're the only person that knows how to do that, right? But what I am going to ask is that we build a relationship together and we help each other to figure out a path forward so that you're a contributing member to our area, to District 35.
Are there any bills or legislation that you've seen come through or that's coming up that is interesting to you or concerning or you think is really good?
Well, I have a few things that I'm concerned about. I think I accidentally started doing this job before you guys gave me this job, you guys being the voters, because I started going to talk to small business folks and asking why they're investing in our community. And so we did a few Facebook posts about that, and there'll be more coming. And then another thing that I ended up doing was kind of like surveying the public to see what do they need, what kinds of things are they paying attention to. I did not know that medical debt is still being sold, and there's still transactions happening where medical debt's being sold, and then like somebody's paying on it for a lot longer and more than it was, right? I thought erroneously that when we had ACA like fully implemented, that there wouldn't be any more medical debt being bought or sold. So now I have to go look into medical debt, because that's preposterous. You're not doing any work. Like, the debt has been paid probably twice over. And there's some single mom with 2 kids who works at Taco Bell who's losing 25% of her check each week. That's a true story. That's something I just dealt with last night. Then I have a friend who is a special education teacher. She's supposed to be a resource teacher, but she gets super poor placements all the time. They put kids into these public schools, right? And they have to get documentation as to why it's not a good fit before they go and put them in a classroom that is a better fit, because we need to use like least restriction like as the standard of placing kids in special education rooms. That woman is worn out. I'm going to be looking for legislation that helps her, right? And then there is a talk of an AI data center coming to the state of Michigan. Well, I care deeply about our natural resources, and I don't know that the amount of jobs that is going to bring is going to be all that impactful in the long run to our local economies, because data centers don't really need to be babysat, right? Like, there's only going to have to be a few people there, and in the meantime, it's hurting our natural resources. It's warming up our planet. I don't want to be any part of that.
Yeah, I was doing some research on data centers. I read a book by Karen Howe.
Okay.
And she talked about there's other ways you can do data centers if you make them smaller and you don't take up as many resources that way. So yeah, that definitely are huge sucks on the water.
Yeah, and where does it matter where they are? Like, if they're just data centers and they're just holding data, like, it doesn't have to be in Michigan where we have like these pristine lakefronts and this beautiful wetland.
We run our fresh water because it takes a bunch of fresh water to run.
But why does it need to be fresh water?
Oh, it has to be fresh because if it ruins the equipment, it has to be fresh water.
Oh, well, that's interesting. And then, so like, I saw something like Finland is using like underground like permafrost to like cool theirs.
Cool, yeah.
So why don't we also have all the data centers in Finland? It sounds like they're better equipped, right? But that's something like I need to do my research. I don't know everything there is to know about data centers.
Right. You'll be doing a lot of research if you get elected.
I know.
No, I was researching what it takes to be a senator, and it's not a glorious job.
No, it sucks. Sorry, that's me again. It sucks. The other thing, oh gosh, you know what? Let's just vent. I just want to vent for a little bit. The other day, I was at a labor union meeting, and it was for an endorsement, and I got up, and it was my turn to answer a question, and it was like, why do you want, or how is labor going to organize or get better organized to support people in our community? And I got up, and the first thing that I said out of my mind was, I don't want to be here right now.
Uh-oh.
I want to be home with my kids, but I don't get that choice anymore because people are unwilling to compromise. They're unwilling to meet each other where they are. They don't want to solve problems. They want credit for problems solved. They don't want to fix things. They want to point fingers. And I'm tired of it. So I gave them a little piece of my mom, give them a little piece of my teacher. So and that's where I'm feeling about this. Like, I'm just so tired of talking to people who want me to say a specific thing before they can give me some dollars. We've raised $800. And, if we win the campaign with $800, how much more glorious is the win going to be? Why do you need $78,000 to run for this office? You don't. You've just priced out everyone. So that's not true representation. Not when it costs $78,000 to run for office. I don't have a nest egg like that. Who are you trying to recruit when you put messaging out there that it costs $78,000 to run for this office, or that this is the biggest election ever? Every single election has been the biggest election ever. I agree, they're all important. We need to be doing our best, but we don't need to fearmonger, and we don't need to play on people's emotions to get the votes. That's not necessary, and I won't do it.
Well, so what are your thoughts about, obviously campaign finances is an issue.
Yeah, it is. Campaign finance is an issue. And we definitely need reform. We need reform because elites are choosing who the representatives are, because elites are funneling money to people who are doing that work, right? And you can't throw money at people and not expect them to have a certain behavior in exchange for the money, right? Doesn't make sense to me.
The school bond
Mm-hmm.
for Saginaw Township didn't pass.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just be curious from your perspective. We have these aging buildings,
Mm-hmm.
Security issues, athletic facilities that need to be updated as well,
Mm-hmm.
and buildings that are 50 to 80 years old. And then Bay City's going to have a new school bond proposal.
Mm-hmm.
I think Birch Run had one, and that didn't pass.
Many didn't pass the election cycle.
Right. And so there's a lot of people that are really, property taxes are too high.
Property taxes are not the way to fund schools anymore. It doesn't work. It leads to inequitably funded schools, right? Like, property taxes are not the way to do this. And I think that building an infrastructure, what has happened is that we take out loans to fix buildings that are starting to age and be decrepit. But what if that is something that the state of Michigan has a fund for, that you can take or borrow dollars from? Because right now, when you see a school bond on the ballot, when I asked the internet, how is it that those bonds are funded? Simply, it's investors, and asking more questions leads to banks. And I don't think banks should be funding our schools like this. Like, why are we relying on banks when we have an entire government, that can put together a fund that schools could borrow from to take care of building and maintenance? Because then at least if we're paying interest on this money, it's going back into the fund and can be used for a school next time. I don't know why we haven't started doing that yet. It seems like common sense to me.
Crime is a big issue in Saginaw.
Mhm.
It can hold us back from growing economically.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your thoughts about how to solve the crime problem in Saginaw?
Ooh, educate the people, remove the barriers to work, and get them jobs. Like, when people know what to do, again, I believe people are inherently good. When they know what to do and how to channel their energies, and they know that somebody is cheering them on along the way, they will perform. The same as a student, the same as a client. And I'm not trying to speak to them in a patronizing way. It's that, who are you going to work for? You are going to work to make yourself proud, right? Who's going to help you learn how to feel pride? Somebody who's already loves you and feels pride for you, right? Somebody who's already cheering you on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think about what you said earlier about the schools don't have after school care.
Yeah.
So how are parents supposed to try to juggle? I mean, that just makes it so much harder.
Exactly. So, yep, we have to get our after school care
I
programs
mean, just
in
that
place
by itself
too.
could help solve crime
See?
problem.
And I think I was just endorsed, guys.
Well, Michigan Women does not endorse any.
Oh, okay.
candidates.
We don't. Nope.
We don't do that here because we're nonpartisan, but we're so
Okay.
happy to have you here to talk and to get to know you a little
Thank
bit.
you.
Do you have any final remarks that you want to share as we wrap it up?
I am very proud of District 35. We are an economical powerhouse. There are so many talented and forward-thinking people who are living and working in this district, and it's going to be amazing to be able to work with them. Like, just getting able, or just starting to make contacts with the people who are politically active and helping our community has been hugely eye-opening. So regardless of what happens in this election, I'm here. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to keep helping. I'm going to keep meeting you where you are and cheering you on whether you like it or not. It's what I do. But it would be really great to be able to do that for you guys in Lansing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Serenity.
thank you.